Governor Andrew Cuomo, that boy has been in the fight of his life for the last 2 weeks now. Got started by one of his aides spilling the beans regarding his reporting of the COVID-19 deaths in the nursing homes and not completing the ones that died in the hospitals. I'm still not sure exactly what is the difference. What difference does it make that he didn't report the hospital deaths along with the nursing homes deaths? I still don't. I think I know. I mean, I may not be the brightest light bulb, but my God, what's the difference? Anyway, somehow another one of his aides, which was a woman, by the way, leaked it to the press. They jumped all over him, and then once that happened, some other woman jumped on me and said he said something to her that was out of tune, out of line, with the Me Too movement. And then 6 other women over the past 2 weeks have decided they want to pile on. Women from 22 years ago are making accusations that Cuomo tried to get them in bed with them or said something to them. And now they're out there with the latest thing I heard yesterday really blew my wig. Was they're now talking about Cuomo's love gloves. Said Cuomo has big hands. Now they're saying that was one of his sexual features, that he approached all women with his love gloves. So Lord have mercy. They said Donald Trump had small hands. Now they said, oh Lord, that Cuomo's got big hands, the love gloves. So Cuomo is under fierce attack. And, the other thing I think that CNN, who Chris Cuomo, as you know, is one of the prominent figures in the evening lineup of CNN, is the younger brother of Andrew Cuomo, and he's very popular. Chris Cuomo is, and CNN, of course, and I suppose some sort of affinity to the Chris Cuomo and Andrew didn't do a lot of reporting on it, but this weekend, Jake Tapper on State of the Nation went after Governor Cuomo with a fierce defense of CNN and a destructive tone against Governor Cuomo, that he is a predator, that he's this or he's that or he's lying or one thing after the other. So CNN is trying to cover their own tracks, and because CNN is a liberal, if you will, bastion, and Democrat, if you will, and Cuomo is Democrat, liberal, etc. But I've been watching this for quite some time. I think there were some good news on yesterday for Cuomo, if you can call it good news. I would call it at least a sense of reprieve. That a poll was taken on this over the past few days about whether Governor Cuomo should resign. Of all New Yorkers were asked if they thought he should resign. And the poll came back on yesterday that 50% of the New Yorkers feel that Cuomo should not resign, even though people are calling for his head that he should resign. New Yorkers are saying by a margin of 50% to 35%, he should not. Now, 35% said he should, 15% said they weren't sure, but 50% said no. So if you're a politician and you're looking, and if you're Cuomo, that was good news, because people like Kirsten Gillibrand, who herself is very suspicious. Kirsten Gillibrand was the first one to go after Al Franken as a senator, because he took a picture of a woman who was sleeping, took a picture of her breast or something, like he was going to put his hands on it. And Al Franken, I don't support any of these liberals. I'd be clear about something. I'm not supportive of any of these liberals, these Democrats. I don't support the Republicans and conservatives either. Let's be clear about what we can be clear about. But Kirsten Gillibrand got her position as a senator when Senator Hillary Clinton left to run for president. Governor David Patterson, who was a son of Basil Patterson of the Gang of Four here in Harlem with Charles Rangel, Percy Sutton, David Patterson became, as a Hamite brother, became the governor of the state of New York. And David Patterson was going to cheap hotels, here in New York City with many of his aides. And he's alleged to be blind. He resigned as well. But before he resigned, Kirsten Gillibrand was able to mooch him and smooch him and sex him. And he appointed This so-called blind governor, this Governor Patterson, before Cuomo, had sex with Kirsten Gillibrand. She sold herself to him to be able to get him to appoint her as governor, a senator rather, in the place of Hillary Clinton when Hillary Clinton was a senator of the state of New York. Not Kirsten Gillibrand, who also went after John Conyers of Michigan and Al Franken, and got both of them to resign. This Kirsten Gillibrand is now leading the pack. And she got some nerve because she knows she got her job through having sex or sexual, or that's been commonly reported. Let me put it that way for people who are against freedom of speech. It has been commonly reported that Kirsten Gillibrand was shacking up with Governor David Patterson. And Governor David Patterson, before Governor Cuomo, was having sex with anything that walked in the state capitol building. And he had to resign himself. But so I find it, and then here comes Chuck-a-Luck Schumer out there in Brooklyn. I remember that boy when he was in Congress. He was running out there in Brooklyn and Midwood and Flatbush to become a congressman. He's now leader of the Senate and a senator. He's calling for Cuomo. These people got some nerve. You know that? They got some nerve. Kirsten Gillibrand and Chuck Schumer, they've got some nerve to call for Cuomo to resign. I say, Cuomo, don't resign. Fight like hell, man. Don't quit because, and a bunch of other Democrats who want to replace him and take his power, because man, Cuomo is powerful. And I'm not supportive of Cuomo. Let's be clear. I'm just reporting the news, but I'm giving you my opinion. Listen, I think somebody needs to do some digging into the background of that Kirsten Gillibrand woman having sex to get appointed to be the senator of the state of New York, and now having sex with a whole lot of other people to stay senator, because she damn sure don't know nothing about policy. She's the least known politician in all the Senate. You ain't never heard nothing about her. Hell, Camelback ain't Black Kamala Harris will run rings around Kirsten Gillibrand. They're both senators. They're both women. You ain't never heard of Kirsten Gillibrand. She right here in New York. Yeah, people in New York don't even know anything about her, because it's alleged that that she's only there because she knows how to flat back. Now, that goes from a term from the street. Y'all know nothing about that. But at any rate, we need to be clear about something. 50% of New Yorkers say, Cuomo, don't resign. I want to stick my hand up and say, Cuomo, don't resign. Man, fight. You know, and men ought to be very careful. Let me say this as well. Now, I understand that the Me Too movement, and I understand that since Adam and Eve, women have been abused by men. I understand that. I have to tell you that I've witnessed, husbands get drunk and beat the living daylights out of their wives. There's a man I've wanted to kill for the last 40 years. I want to kill him. If I'm wrong for wanting to kill him, I repent. His name is Bobby Green, who messed over my sister when she was just a teenager, 15 years old. He messed her life up. It hurt me. It hurt my family. It hurt all of us. It hurt her. And she was destroyed. She later became an alcoholic and died of lung cancer because of Bobby Green. By the way, Bobby Green is one of the ugliest I've ever seen in my life. We got a man live on this block right here on 123rd Street. I call him Ugmo. That boy is ugly. I swear he's ugly. But Bobby Green is one of the ugliest I've ever seen in my life, and he messed over my sister. I wanted to kill him. I understand what abuse is. I'm not for any man. I'm against you if you're an abuser. But I have to tell you that I'm against Me Too, because it then says a woman can just raise her voice against a man like they're raising their voice against Cuomo from 20 years ago. Why is it important now? Why the hell didn't you say something 20 years ago to try to destroy him? And there's Rudolph Giuliani's wife was a part of a group here in New York called the Vagina Monologues, where a bunch of women sat around in a circle, and they call it the Vagina Monologues. All you people against free speech, I didn't name it that, but the Vagina Talk, it was about vagina power. The show fizzled, but I think it's cruel now that men abuse women, and they do, say all kind of sexual things that make them feel uncomfortable, and bosses want to jiggy with their secretaries. And listen, let me tell you something. Down in the cabin, back then, the days of the antebellum slave period, the woman had no choice but to sleep with the boss man, and he's usually the white man in the slave camp. I know that. I understand that. That's how come I'm probably the color I am right now, and a whole lot of other people who are Hamites are the color they are because of abuse that goes way back to the slave cabin. I understand, and I'm against it. I'm against it with everything that's within me. But I am for balance. I don't think that a man ought to attack a woman simply because he's stronger, and I don't think a woman ought to attack a man just because she's weaker and got a vagina. If that offends you, I'm sorry. But Governor Cuomo, and I knew his father, Mario Cuomo. I had lunch with his father, Mario Cuomo. Yeah, I was just a boy. His governor, Cuomo, probably didn't even pay any attention to me. I was sitting at this table. My pastor knew him, and they were bosom buddies. And Cuomo would have been president, Governor Mario Cuomo would have been president of America. I think it was George Bush that he was going to run against. And for whatever reason, he was on his way to the campaign and he decided not to run. Governor Cuomo, Mario Cuomo was eloquent, he was smart, he was a philosopher, he was a politician, and he's a favorite governor of the state of New York, unlike Rockefeller and some of these other creeps. And his son Andrew has built a bridge across the Hudson River called the Mario Cuomo Bridge, and they're trying to take Andrew Cuomo down. I'm against it. I think Andrew should fight and run for his fourth term. Again, I don't want anybody to think somebody that I've gone liberal or Democrat, and you know damn well I have not. I'm just reporting. I'm Manning. I tell the truth on everybody. And if it's true, I'm going to say it. And by the way, all of y'all running around here talking about, you talk about Cuomo, he's for abortion and all that. Let me tell you something about you Republican creeps. Let me tell you something, you hypocrites, you Republican. You act like a Republican. Maybe your sister had an abortion. Maybe your mama had an abortion. Listen, people run around here talking about the Democrats having an abortion, somehow or another, like a damn Republican or conservative or red state woman ain't never had an abortion, or red state man ain't never supported his woman having an abortion. You know damn well that all y'all have abortions. Republicans have just as many abortions as do Democrats. You say, well, that may be true, but at least they don't get out there and campaign for the right for a woman to have an abortion. Well, maybe they should, because that's what they do. No, I'm not a Democrat, but I think what's being done to Governor Cuomo, he says he never sexually assaulted anybody. There may be some woman who's going to come up and say he raped her. Somebody might say that. I say this. I say let the investigation by Tish James, let it go forward, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I think that Cuomo should stand his ground. The rats are leaving you. The people you probably put in the office, gave them their first bite at the political power, Governor Cuomo, are not turning on you because they see an opportunity to try to take your position. They want to take your power. It ain't about justice. It ain't about justice for these women. It ain't about that at all. Hell, a lot of the men that are probably coming at you are worse. They are the real predators, but ain't nobody squealed on them as of yet. And who knows how much money they paid the women to keep their mouths shut, or positions that they've gave them so that they won't, or NDAs, non-discriminatory contracts that they've signed, so they can't say anything about them, especially that Chuck Schumer boy. So I say, Governor Cuomo, stand your ground, man. Keep on fighting. I believe your father, Mario, wants you to hear that. Somebody need to tell you. And Chris Cuomo on CNN, and I ain't for these people, I keep saying it. I'm just a quintessential James David Manning. You know me. You know how I roll. Chris Cuomo, keep on reporting, man. Hold your head up high. And watch out for that boy Anderson Cooper. I'm telling you, Chris Cuomo, watch out for that boy Anderson Cooper. And that Don Lemon, they ain't for you, man. I'll tell you, Don Lemon, you call him D. Lemon. I think they call him over there at Fox News, they call him D. Lemon. They ain't for you, Chris. I'm telling you, them people ain't for you. But there are some people at CNN, they're going to stay with you, But keep on fighting. Keep on trucking. Me, I'm James David Manning, everybody. I'm the Lord. God's servant. Over the years, we have served more than 1 million meals to hungry bellies and hungry people here in the Harlem community. And I wanted you to be able to see that. I want you to see our involvement with youth, our summer youth programs, our courtyard being used as a place where children can be safe, guarded, and protected as they have their miniature swimming pools, and a safe place for children to eat that is guarded, that is protected by our own sense of security, and the wholesome and fresh meals that we serve. We wanted you to be able to see the mission of this church. And we've been doing this for years. Just recently, one of our members, more than a 30-year member of this church, but it hasn't, not one that, that you would probably find as members of some other churches with their nose stuck up in the air. But her father is now close to death or very sick in the state of South Carolina. And I said to her, because she doesn't have money, I said, we will buy you a bus ticket, a round trip bus or train ticket for you to travel to South Carolina to be with your father in this time of pandemic. There's very little funding around. There's sickness everywhere. And the thing that just blew me away was she said, as she was talking to Elizabeth, she said, but how are you going to do that, to pay for me a round trip ticket to travel and give me expense money? And because Pastor Manning has to feed the children, he has to educate the children, he has to buy school supplies for them, he has to pick them up in the mornings and take them back, and then he's got the ministry he has to take care of, all the bills of running the church, of keeping a major house like our house operational, keep the lights on, how are you going to be able to do that? And she was almost reluctant to take the money because she felt that it would be better served by feeding the children. We gave it to her anyway. But we want you to know that we do a work in this community. There have been a lot of lies told on us. And it's almost unimaginable why some of the people that have lied on us. But I can tell you behind all of it is the LGBTQ community. They don't want us to be successful, but we are, and we're going to continue to be successful in serving the meals that we're serving and serving the people that we are. And the LGBTQ community will not take us down. They are not going to take our church. Yet they've defamed us. They've written ugly newspaper articles about us. They've marched against us. They've done a whole lot of ugly things. But you see what we have done, and that's not even the half of our service to children and to the needy in terms of our homeless shelters and the things that we've done over the years. And we will continue. And probably the lies and the smears and the ugly newspaper articles and the wicked spirits and the so-called I ain't for the black man, that is not going to go away. I don't expect it to go away. I don't. But I do tell you this, that we will succeed against all of that, for God is with us, and I am his servant.